Welcome to Drill Down Earnings. We have second quarter results from PayPal. Important quarter for this company. This is the business story behind one stock on a move. The stock is moving, yes. I'm Cory Johnson, Chief Market Strategist for the Futurum Group. When we look at these second quarter earnings, of course, Wall Street likes a beat or a miss, and this was a beat, but that's really about Wall Street's expectations. Let's try to understand the business here a little bit. So in the quarter, PayPal told us that it was a strong quarter for them, and it certainly was. And the progress of this new management team, which has been in place for about 6 months, seems to be steady. This is the best transaction margin dollar growth since 2021. And they're making some big changes, not least of which trying to benefit from Venmo, which has had great sort of success from a brand standpoint, but maybe not on a revenue standpoint. So overall, revenue growth hung in there at 8%, and that's pretty good. Still single digits for this company, but better than it had been. That was driven principally by unbranded card processing. That business was up 28%, Venmo was up 9%, and the result was they had a lot more transactions. So the transaction growth was up 8%, even though the number of active accounts was flat. So that's kind of impressive, right? People who have PayPal are using it, have PayPal accounts, are using it more and more, and their conversions have been decent enough where they've been able to sort of at least keep their overall numbers flat in accounts as they're adding more transactions. And the transaction revenues, not the number of transactions up 8%, transaction revenues up 9%. Pretty good quarter for this company. Not fantastic, but not the disaster that some had feared when they were looking at this company maybe a year ago. So when you look at the chart, the stock reacted positively. The stock's up 7%, a pretty good gain from this company that had been down, is now down 15% for the year. So work yet to be done. CEO Alex Chriss asked about competition, and specifically about Apple Pay showing up both on the desktop as well as in retail locations, and what competition that might offer for them. And he was somewhat dismissive of it, talking about the success that they've had when going head to head with Apple Pay or Google Pay or anyone else. Here's Alex Chriss.
So the reality today, we are the #1 branded experience across all platforms and devices. If we narrow down into desktop web, which is still 40 to 50% of all checkout, we see no degradation in our share over the past 4 years. So let me say that again. We've held share despite competition. Second, if we look across browsers, there's actually no difference in our selection rate across different browsers. So certain buttons moving from one platform to the other just isn't material to us.
3, 2. So certain buttons moving around, not a concern for Alex Chriss. The one number that means a whole lot that I want you to take away from these earnings, the Drill Down Earnings Bite, I'm going to have that for you with a summary of these results right after this.
The Drill Down is brought to you by Futurum Group, where analysts, researchers, advisors, content creators, and marketing experts help business leaders anticipate and understand shifts in their industries and build strategies to leverage disruptive innovation. With deep analysis, Futurum Group's extensive industry experience delivers reliable research and data, thought leadership, and actionable advice to help you with your strategy and go-to-market efforts. Futurum Group.
So PayPal releasing second quarter earnings, pretty decent quarter for the company. Revenues were better than Wall Street expected, whatever. But the one number that means a whole lot here that I want you to take away is not the rise in the stock price or the 15% decline in the stock price over the last year. Today's rise certainly good, but 8% was the increase in the number of transactions and the dollar amount of transactions, up 9%. That's good for this company as growth continues, as new management tries a turnaround at PayPal. All right, thanks for listening to Drill Down Earnings. I'm Cory Johnson. And you can check me out on X at CoryTV, on Instagram and TikTok at Drill Down Pod, and of course, 6'5 Media page on YouTube.